All right. Hello, everybody. We are Givebutter. We're a butter way to give. We're very excited to tell you about what we do every single day. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about our team. Everybody always says that team is the most important part of any startup. And I am honored and super lucky to call these two gentlemen not only my co-founders, but my best friends, my roommates. And don't you think they look pretty good in black and white? We've started 5 companies together that have collectively generated over $50,000 in revenue and reached over 500,000 people. Those startups have been featured in the Washington Post, Inc. magazine, and a lot of local DC press sources as well. My name is Max Freeman. I'm the CEO of Givebutter. I'm a self-taught developer and designer, and when I'm not spreading butter, you can find me over at the gym playing pickup basketball.
Hey guys, my name is Ari Krasner. I'm the CMO of the company. I'm a people and social media enthusiast, and when you're not finding me doing my Givebutter thing, you can find me making music in my dorm room.
Hey guys, my name is Liron. I'm the CTO of Givebutter. I work on our front and back end development. I have 7+ years of experience developing apps and websites.
This wouldn't be a team slide without telling you about Mr. Butter, our mascot, who's always making the world a better place. So when we started Givebutter in our dorm room about a year ago, we set out to solve a very specific problem. But we didn't just reach that problem by chance. We picked up the phone and spoke to the top 100 nonprofits and asked to speak to their chief development officers. And they told us some really interesting things that are best articulated by reading you a few quotes, so bear with me. The American Cancer Society said that we know that we have to target millennial donors. The focus of my team is this younger audience. That's our insurance policy as an organization. When everyone else dies off, you need another group of people to step on in. It's a serious problem, and Easter Seals reiterated that by saying the average age of our donors is 70, and the vast majority of our fundraising comes from direct mail.
And my favorite is Jim runs our Snapchat account and he's 55. That comes directly from AmeriCares.
So the problem is clear. There's a disconnect happening here, and it comes down to a very broad-reaching application or problem, and that is that fundraising is broken. Organizations of all sizes, from the largest nonprofits in the world down to the student organization on college campuses, is not engaging in raising enough money and is leaving money on the table due to a lot of different factors. We list 4 of them here. They're not maximizing their social engagement, both online and offline. And typical online fundraising platforms leave a lot to be desired in terms of building a community and raising money from people both online and offline. There's very little transparency. So we just spoke with an organization that ran a direct mail campaign that spent $10 million on direct mail to get $12 million in return. Those donors are spending 80% of their dollars for the next direct mail campaign, which is unacceptable. Online fundraising fees are very not transparent as well, and it's hard to know where your donation is actually going at the end of the day, to the platform or to the organization. On top of that, there's a complete lack of personalized giving and fundraising experience happening, and people want that hands-on support from people that have been there, done that, especially when you're young and inexperienced with fundraising and giving back, and how to match both a cause to the organization that they want to fundraise for. Lastly, across the board, there's tons of money being left on the table from poor donor and chapter management practices, and all of this stuff we're going to talk a little bit more about in the following slides. But that led us to our solution of Givebutter. Givebutter is not just a fundraising platform, but that's what we are at our core, and it's an extremely effective way to raise money online. On top of that, we're a movement all over the country of young people making giving back a part of their lives. And lastly, we're a partnership that merges both our platform and our movement together to create amazing things. We're going to talk about all of this again. Together, we're a better way to give. And Liron's going to talk about the platform, which he has single-handedly coded himself.
Okay, so our platform has raised about $300,000 to date. We have 3 main users of our platform. We have the fundraisers, who are also the administrators of these campaigns. We have the team members who get added by the fundraisers to actually do the solicitation of donations from friends and family. And we have the donors who actually interact with our product on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to walk you through this scenario real quick. So let's say I'm a fundraiser and I want to start a campaign. I head over to our website and hit Get Started. I'm presented with 2 campaign formats, Standard and Grid. The formats have the exact same features but slightly different design. I prefer the Grid format, so I'm going to use that. I fill out some basic fields like the title, my goal, and can upload a few images. At any time, if you have any questions, you can message us using the bottom right-hand little bubble, and we'll respond within 1 minute. This is super awesome for campaign support. After that, you can add impacts to your campaign. Impacts allow donors to see exactly where their money is going when they donate. Let's head over to the dashboard after the administrator creates their campaign. They can see donations coming in live and updates from our team at Givebutter. They can edit their campaign details at any time, including the impacts they've added. They can also head over to our team tab where they can easily add team members to the campaign. Each team member receives a customized, personal, unique link that they can send out to friends and family to get credit for the donations they bring into the campaign. This creates fun and competitive aspect to fundraising and allows the fundraiser to track all donations and where they come from. We have a lot of other cool features like events and ticketing and registration that I don't really have time to go over right now, but trust me, they're awesome. Let's head over to the campaign page, where the first thing you'll notice, it's super fun and engaging and creates a community. These little squares called giving spaces are what donors upload when they donate. They're message of support, images, GIFs, and drawings. You'll also notice the team underneath that, and as well as a description of the campaign right underneath that. Let's say I want to donate to this campaign. I hit donate now, fill in my name, and choose the amount I want to donate. What's really cool is that we show exactly what your donation gets you right there. So $10 provides a hat for a child going through chemotherapy. It also says that if I add $40, I can reach the next impact, which sponsors a field trip for a child going through cancer. So I'm going to stick with $50 and then credit my donation to Gracie. After that, I can create my giving space. Here, I can upload a message of support, image, or create a drawing, and this little giving space is what appears on the page that you saw earlier, those little squares, and it makes it fun and engaging. Lastly is our checkout page, where we ask every donor to cover a small fee on top of their donation to allow the nonprofit to keep 100% of their intended donation. So our approach to fees is a 100% transparency. Unlike all other fundraising platforms that try to hide this fee, they take a 10 to 15% fee without the donor knowing. We are upfront about it and ask every donor to cover it, and 95% of donors cover it, which leads to about a 1% fee for the fundraiser.
Thanks, Leron. So Givebutter is not just a platform, but we're also a movement. The mission of our company is to make giving back a part of everybody's lives. Last summer, we were the first company in the world to interview people on Snapchat. We had over 1,400 applicants for our Butter Ambassador program that, as you can see by the map, now includes over 250 Butter Ambassadors at over 125 college campuses around the country. What do these guys do? Well, it's very simple. They act as one-on-one consultants for fundraisers that occur in their vicinity and also on their campuses, so customer support, customer acquisition. They also act as salespeople on a commission basis, so they're consistently bringing in campaigns on a daily basis. And thirdly, they're inspiring their peers to make giving back a part of their lives and to make social causes a part of their lives through the Givebutter platform. And they do this by running contests with the various campaigns that we have on our site, on our website. And we also feature our most promising Butter Ambassadors on our site and our social media channels, which has been extremely effective in gaining highly targeted followers for our brand and our social media accounts. Let me show you a video of what I'm talking about here.
So some music, so get ready.
So this is all content created by the ambassadors that we feature on our channels.
Hey, what's up, Butter Nation? It's Justin here again. It turned out to be a beautiful day out here in Athens, Ohio.
Hey, Justin. You can hear him introduce himself as Butter Nation. I'm the good-looking one on the right. Plying in the face in the name of philanthropy.
With the help of Givebutter, I was able to raise over $700 for DogWorks, which is an organization that helps give back to dogs.
Givebutter not only helped me raise awareness for my cause, but it also helped me raise over $600 to help Lucas County Special Olympics athletes.
All these logos are the college campuses that we're present at, and we're super excited to be growing this program exponentially every single day.
Thanks, Ari. So Ari got to touch upon the movement, which is on 125 college campuses and growing every day. You know, I spoke about the platform that's raised $300,000 to date, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about our partnership. So Givebutter actively partners with small and mid-sized nonprofits to raise more money from both their chapters and their donors in a more effective way by bringing all that under one roof, and that's the Givebutter roof. I want to talk about Tamid, which was one of the first people to take on this endeavor with us, and they launched a campaign where we basically brought all of their chapters under one place, where each of these blue circles, blue squares that you're seeing here, are chapters where they have their own link under Givebutter, where they can raise money semester over semester, year over year, without creating campaigns on various platforms, so that the national organization can track donor information all in one place, streamline payments to the main organization, and then use that on a recurring basis to leverage and raise more money over time. But we don't just work with small and mid-sized nonprofits, those logos of which, by the way, we actively work with on a regular basis, many of which are based right here in DC. But we also work with some of the top nonprofits. So It's On Us was one of our very first partners. They're a national organization started in the White House by Joe Biden to raise awareness for sexual assault and women's health issues. And so they were one of our first major partners. And I want to read you a quote from Rebecca Kaplan, their director, who worked with us, and it really articulates the relationship we have with some of these larger nonprofits. So Givebutter is one of the most innovative and engaging platforms I've seen in that it successfully mobilizes young people to actively fundraise and donate around the causes they care most about. The Givebutter team is dynamic, passionate, and thoughtful. They're an absolute joy to work with. So what we do is we'll have nonprofits that contact us, and a lot of them we reached out to in the very beginning when we were starting Givebutter, and they come to us and they say, can we create fun and engaging ways to reach younger donors? And this was a solution that we came up with for It's On Us, similar to the grid that you saw in the other campaign format, which had a lot of celebrity involvement, including Kerry Washington, a GW alumni that you can see in the bottom left corner. And this is both to raise money, but also awareness for important issues related to It's On Us. And we're proud to say that we're now their spring partner for their week of action. So let's talk numbers. We told you that Givebutter's raised $300,000 to date on the platform, primarily in the last 6 months. That's generated $15,000 in profit for us from about 500 campaigns. The reason you're seeing these spikes is because this is about a year ago now when we started the platform. The middle spike is fall semester of this year, and the last spike is the spring semester to date. In fact, April is probably going to be, we're on pace to by far be our most profitable month in terms of making money and also donations, which we're very excited about. And if you project these numbers out about a year, you'll see those spikes continuing. With just 10% month-over-month compounded growth, we expect to raise $1 million in the platform a year from today, $50,000 in profit from 1,500 fundraising campaigns. We believe these numbers are extremely conservative based on only what we've done with a little bit of extra growth from network effects, and that we have a lot more that we are going to be doing over the summer in terms of partnerships, relationships, and sales that we anticipate taking on. But this is very predictable, which is why we showed it. This is our expenses, which I'm happy to talk about more during the Q&A. The biggest thing to point out here, though, is that the biggest increasing expense over time is salaries and wages, and that's because I just graduated from GW, and I'm doing Givebutter full-time. The Ron and Ari are juniors, and so year 3, our salaries and wages will go up significantly. But I want to note that this is a business that can be sustainable on its own today without any existing, just sort of taking our numbers and growing year over year, which we're very proud to say. Lastly, talking about Outlook, we spent $5,000 in an ambassador program that generated $20,000 in revenue for us. That's something that we want to invest heavily in and have 1,000 ambassadors on campuses by 2018. The network effects, like I was saying, are phenomenal in terms of every time we get a campaign, that campaign reaches thousands of people. If one of those people starts a campaign, we have viral growth, and that's something that we play on a lot. The social impact. It's impossible to overstate the impact we're having with college students giving back to philanthropy and the money that's being raised and instilling those values at a very young age. And lastly, today we're on college campuses, and tomorrow we're everywhere. And I believe we're out of time, but I want to say it only will get better from here. Thank you. Very excited to hear your questions.
I think it's such a great concept. I guess, so I actually have a lot of experience. I helped to launch Giving Tuesday, and so I have a lot of experience in working with Razoo and CrowdRise and all of these others. So would you say your major, by the way, the platform does look beautiful. I love how you can upload videos and see kind of that dynamic content. I think it's great. But how does this really differ from all of these other platforms that are already existing? And yeah, so that's...
Yeah, so we really didn't have a lot of time to talk about that, and that's something that we deal with every day. We have that chat support, and the number one question we get is, how are you different from GoFundMe?
Because also, I will say from experience, a lot of those platforms, like, you need a secret sauce in order to successfully fundraise, which is like sometimes a celebrity engagement or things like that. And so I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. So one of the biggest differentiators between us and most other platforms is our team fundraising feature. And so what we do is every single person on the campaign, we work with a lot of organizations, a student organization, a fraternity, a sorority, a student org on campus that's a chapter of a nonprofit. And by getting all of their members to be trackable and held accountable for the money they're raising, helps them raise a lot more money because instead of just sending out the same link, they're actually held accountable because you can see literally how much money they're raising. And that feature alone has taken a fraternity that's raised $500 on GoFundMe and have them raise $10,000 through us. And so that's something that's been super effective. But these are some of the high-level overviews of some of the differentiators, and a lot of it revolves around bringing all the different tools, MailChimp, Eventbrite, like different services that they're using, making them dead simple to implement into fundraising campaigns, and making the whole experience really fun. In terms of efficacy, if that's what you're getting at, is we do a lot of one-on-one campaign support. We actually email every person. It's not necessarily scalable, but we have phone calls with people trying to coach them on fundraising practices, and that's been really helpful to get them to raise more money.
And would you say maybe another differentiator is that your target market is college students?
Oh yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, especially today. A differentiator for who? Because we serve different customer bases. So like, it's a differentiator because college students love using us because we're by students for students, and so they can that buys a lot of loyalty. But then for nonprofits, it's a big sell to work with them because we have a captive audience of 250 ambassadors, and it's a very millennial-centric platform. So it works in different ways.
Yeah, I guess I would say like when you're trying to pitch yourself rather than Classy or CrowdRise, like that is a special segment, and a lot of these older nonprofits fail to engage and fail to fundraise well online, as you've said, but also they realize that the millennial will give $5, while like the older person through direct mail might give 5,000, and so
Totally.
like the amount of effort you need to exert. So for you guys, as a selling point, I would say you own the market of kind of college givers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Your pricing is more like 5%, right? I think in every slide you had going into this, your transaction net effective fee was 5.
Yeah, can you go through all of the revenue that you're?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me bring up the.
Why is
the
it 5?
fee.
And then
Yeah,
5.5%?
so I'm glad you asked because it's definitely a little confusing. The 0.5% is the fee that the fundraiser sees at the end of the day. So if they set out to raise $10,000, they're going to keep $9,950 at the end of the day on average. And that's because we ask every donor to cover the fee. Our take at the end of the day is about 5%, and we take our fee no matter what, whether they cover it or don't. But instead of asking the whole organization to take on what I was showing you on the bottom, a 3%, 8% fee plus a subscription fee that the donor has no idea about, we just say, donors, here's the fee. We ask every single person to take on that 5% fee, and 95% of the time they do. We've optimized that experience tremendously month over month, and every month we're seeing our average campaign fee go down and down. So we're really proud.
Well, it's also because credit card processing.
Yes.
That
But
includes
also, just to be clear, CrowdRise and everyone else, they do make it very clear.
Yeah, well,
The
some,
same.
Yeah, your CrowdRise definitely does. GoFundMe does not. GoFundMe is just like you donate $100, you have no idea. The donor has no idea. You're right, CrowdRise does, but CrowdRise also charges a subscription fee to give organizations a guaranteed rate, and that's money that like an organization is shelling out $50 a month to pay for that the donors, so it's like a different pricing scheme.
So
yeah.
here's the thing I'm confused by, because I've done kind of donation type of stuff before. I've advised folks who've done this. It's a really tough business model to make work, and you guys are underpricing where a lot of other things in the market are, and I'm just not getting how you can do that and grow.
So we have the same pricing. It's just we're asking the donors to cover the fee. So we're making our margin.
5%'s a lot less than a lot of the other ones.
No, we take our total take is about 8%, and 3% of that goes to credit card fees. Our total take is 8%. 3% goes to credit card fees. Our margin at the end of the day comes out to about 5.5%, and that's a volume play. That's just like we need scale to be a really big business, but we have a lot of interest from companies that want to be doing cause marketing and other potential revenue streams. We just dipped into events and ticketing, so we're doing registration. Like there's other opportunities, but it's definitely it's a small margin, but it's still competitive in terms of our take compared to other platforms, if that makes sense.
So the other revenue streams was my question, and
Sure.
how you guys are going to grow. Because I think, speaking to that point, the 5%, yes, you're the profit of 50,000, but how are you going to make $1 million?
Totally. So one of the biggest potential revenue drivers in the future that we see is we have this captive audience of young people. Chipotle won't want to sponsor a $5,000 campaign, but they might be interested in sponsoring $500,000 worth of campaigns on college campuses. And imagine you're doing giveaways or career opportunities or selling a credit card, or a local business wants to give to it. You see that all the time on local charity campaigns, a local business offering a deal or something. And if we can take a slice of that, we think that could be sell a $10,000 package to a Deloitte, $50,000 package, becoming an advertising product, and that's how we can make money, by capitalizing on our audience, not just on the donations and the volume through the site. But right now, we've been able to be sustainable just on the volume, but we hope to tap into things like this in the future.
Two rapid fire answers, because I have a few. 300,000 raised. Give me the breakdown. Tell me about how many different fundraising concepts those were. What was the average raise per funding, etc.
Yeah. So
who were they? Were they all college students?
Yeah, great question. So you saw, I could show. I'm not gonna pull it up, but you saw that graph that was like the three
Yep.
spikes. That was
I saw
primarily.
hockey stick.
Yeah, sorry. Those are almost entirely on college campuses.
Okay.
And those are because the reason for those spikes is they're in school, so it goes down in December, January, November. I got my months mixed up.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so it's primarily college students. The average campaign size is only $1,200 being raised. The average donation is $70. And to be absolutely clear, it's not college students that are donating. They are raising money from their peers, but those are the $5 donations. Most of the donations, they're reaching out to their aunts, their uncles, their parents, their grandparents, and those are the ones that are actually making the donations.
So
but
you've
college
had roughly
students,
300 different organizations that have raised money.
yes,
It's a lot.
yeah, thank you.
It's good. All right, quick question. Have you guys raised financing to date?
We have, well, we actually took a small debt round. So Tom Rafa is not here, but he was supposed to be here, and he's our advisor. He leads a nonprofit accounting firm in DC. He's been a big partner of ours.
Best.
Tom's the best. He's been a huge help for us to get in touch with a lot of us.
What was the cap on the note?
We're still finalizing the terms. It's
Okay,
a little.
so you haven't closed it yet?
We have not closed it out.
What's the stack, Liren? What's the tech stack?
So
What's
we
the
built
back
everything
end?
in-house, PHP, MySQL,
But
JavaScript.
how are you scaling the hosting of?
Yeah, so
what's the back end?
So right now we're using a standard hosting company, but we're in the process of moving completely over to AWS and building on top of a platform like Laravel.
And the front end's just PHP.
The front is JavaScript and
Java.
yeah.
Okay. I love the Givebutter movement, by the way.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome. I think that's a differentiator. I'll be honest with you.